The first day of WrestleMania 38 is in the books, and much like last year, seemingly WWE saved the best for first. From Cody's huge return against Seth Rollins to Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch putting on a Match of the Year contender to the return of Stone Cold Steve Austin. WrestleMania's first night of 2022 was wildly fun. Let's break down the show from beginning to end on this episode of Wrestle Juice. Hey friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. So WrestleMania Night 1 is in the books. Man, it was a lot of fun. Makes you wonder what the hell are they even going to do tonight for Night 2. I'll give you my thoughts about that tomorrow. Man, it was a long day of streaming yesterday. It was like 5 or 6 hours of streaming. And then, we did the recap afterwards over at Going in Raw. So if you guys want a more in-depth, detailed analysis of last night's WrestleMania Night 1, head over to Going in Raw. We've got it in full podcast length form, but this is Wrestle Juice. I don't do long form over here. I do short form. So I'm going to give you my quick thoughts on the entirety of WrestleMania 38 Night 1. But first, do me a huge favor. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. You guys have been doing so good hitting that subscribe button. We've got a ton of new subscribers here at the channel, and it's great to see you. Love to see it. Let's break it down. First up, WrestleMania Night 1 in a nutshell. Man, I thought it was a ton of fun. I thought it was a blast. I'm kind of wondering, like, my main concern now is, like, what are they going to do for Night 2? Last year was kind of the same. They really loaded up Night 1 with, like, the fun stuff, and then Night 2 was okay. This, similarly speaking, the Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch match was my match of the night. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I was really shocked that Stone Cold Steve Austin came back and had a 14-minute match against Kevin Owens. It was mainly a brawl, and there was a lot of beer drinking involved, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I thought that from beginning to end, there really wasn't anything on the card last night that dragged. I thought even the match I was least looking forward to, Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey, I thought the meat of that match was still pretty fun. I thought Ronda Rousey trying to tap out Charlotte was kind of cool. And I'll be honest with you, I'm really happy that Charlotte retained, because I feel like the feud leading up to this match has been really flat, and I didn't really want to see Ronda Rousey, who just doesn't seem like she wants to be there. Maybe she does. I don't think she'd be there if she didn't want to be there, but it just kind of she feels a little off, like the novelty is worn off, and now you maybe sort of notice, or maybe I sort of notice things like her sleepy promos and her general demeanor of, like, boredom. Maybe she's not trying to do that. I don't know. Anyways, so I thought Night 1 was a lot of fun. How will Night 2 compare? I don't know. I'm looking forward to AJ Styles versus Edge. I think that'll be good. There are reports out there, I believe, from Fightful Select that says Edge is going to be getting a faction soon. Maybe that'll come into play. I'm looking forward to the main event, to Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. I'm interested to see how that's going to go down. I firmly believe Roman Reigns is going to win that match. I am looking forward to, I guess, RK Bro, the whole tag match there. I think the women's tag match is going to be a lot of fun. I think there's going to be some good wrestling tonight. It's just they seem to save all the fun for Night 1. Although Knoxville versus Zayn should be a lot of fun as well. My God, I'm rubbing my eyes because I'm sleepy because of yesterday. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's go. They're like, oh my God, Steve, you just woke up. I woke up like 2 hours ago. First up, the Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs. Unfortunately, Boogs got hurt really early into this match. I believe Dave Meltzer tweeted out that it's his patella tendon and quad were both, like, torn, I guess. There's damage to it during this match. When he tried to put both the Usos on his shoulders, unfortunately, his knee gave out. And that was a real bummer to see. You hate to see that kind of thing. The Usos retained. And who knows what this match would have been. Obviously, they cut it short because Boogs couldn't participate. So that was kind of a bummer. McIntyre versus Corbin. This is basically as I sort of thought it was going to be. A dominant effort from McIntyre. I was shocked. After 7 years, history was made, and Drew McIntyre kicked out of the End of Days. I hope this was just a big WrestleMania moment. Because I really like that Corbin had that End of Days. I am a Baron Corbin fan. I just have never liked any creative they've given him. I think he's a terrific performer. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's good on the mic. He's got charisma, but they just give him dog shit creative. So, somebody kicking out of the end of days wouldn't be my first choice. But if it was going to be anybody, it'd be somebody as powerful as Drew McIntyre. And I liked the bit at the end when he sliced the ropes in half. I thought that was pretty cool. After that, we had The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios. I was kind of surprised. So I had Miz and Logan Paul winning this. Mainly because one of you in my comments for WrestleJuice had noted that last year Logan Paul turned on Sami Zayn, his heel of choice then, and so this year things went down differently. I really liked the how well the finish went down. I'm still not a fan of Dom Mysterio. I think he's slow, he's a bit awkward, he's got no charisma. I really wish this kid would have gone through like NXT or something before they brought him to main roster just to satisfy Rey. I love Rey Mysterio. I think it's night and day when Dom's in there being isolated. The match slows to a crawl. When Rey comes in, man, the pace picks up immediately. It's so obvious to see. I wish Dom wasn't holding down that spot, but it is what it is. I thought Logan Paul, I thought he was really good, man. I think he's probably a top 5 celebrity wrestler. His gear looked amazing with that dummy Pokemon card for like $6 million on his chest. I thought that his gear was great. And I like Dom shouting out Eddie with the red, white, and blue. I think it was like Great American Bash, one of the Eddie Guerrero costumes or entrance attires. I thought that was really good. Miz and Paul, of course, win here with the skull-crushing finale. And then the Miz turned on Logan Paul. So we're probably going to get that as a match at WrestleMania Backlash, is my assumption. The Miz versus Logan Paul. That should be fun because Logan Paul, obviously, look, I'm not really a fan of the guy outside of wrestling, but when he shows up on my wrestling screen, on my wrestling TV, I'm okay with the guy. And he's been putting a lot of work. After that, we had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Holy shit. Bianca's entrance with the marching band, her gear, Becky's Marvel cinematic thing that they did, and her gear. She looked like a character out of Blade Runner. And then this match that they put on, man. This is 2 years in a row now that Bianca Belair and a horsewoman have stolen a WrestleMania show. This was my match of the night. It was absolutely terrific. The story they were telling in that ring when Becky was trying everything to put away Bianca Belair and just the desperation was seeping in. There's nothing she could do to stop the inevitable, and that was Bianca Belair winning that WWE Raw Women's Championship. I thought this was a terrific match. This was my match of the night. Loved to see it, and I thought it was great. After that, we had, of course, Seth Rollins with some amazing gear of his own, and the return of Cody Rhodes. This entirely validates him not debuting on Raw to set the match up. This was a big WrestleMania return, I guess sort of debut you can call it, but he's just returning to the company. And his entire AEW theme, his Nightmare Family graphics, or the American Nightmare, whatever you want to call it, all that stuff. And the lights going down, and then there's more than one royal family. Holy crap. We have our live reaction specifically to that moment up right now over at Friendo Club TV. I linked the video in the community tab here at WrestleJuice, and you can see me flip out over this. I was shocked, even though you sort of knew it was going to come, because they had introduced, like Gable Steveson had shown up earlier in the night. Stephanie McMahon introduced him. He just showed up and raised his hand, so it wasn't going to be him. Some people are speculating that he was Undertaker because of the Undertaker's TED Talk speech for his Hall of Fame thing when he said never say never. Shane McMahon was reported to be in town. I still think Shane's going to figure into that Pat McAfee match tonight, but it was none of them. It was Cody Rhodes, and my God, he got a massive pop. Huge reaction. He looked like he got that tattoo of his touched up, which why would he do that? Just let it fade away, man. And then the match itself was a stellar match. It was a really killer match between these two. Good to see Cody back in WWE after, look, I know Drew McIntyre made a big deal out of himself over there on the independent scene after he got released from WWE. Cody Rhodes, man. This dude left as Stardust and he came back as the buzziest thing in wrestling. He had a whole press conference this morning where he talked about, why he came back and how he doesn't want to talk shit about AEW. And he's glad everything was kept respectful and he was just ready for a change. So that was awesome. And of course, the Young Bucks changing their bio twice wants to, what was it? Something like WTF. I thought we were going to do All In 2. And then another one, they said, doesn't work for me, brother. Everybody in wrestling's talking about Cody. Thought it was an awesome moment. Be interesting to see where they go from here. He said that he's going to drop a promo on Raw and let people know. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, during the match, he does the Stardust bit. I thought it was awesome, man. I thought it was so great. Next up, we had Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte. I sort of talked about this a little bit. Man, I thought that this is a solid match. I thought this was like a decent match where Ronda was just trying to tap out Charlotte Flair. They did the wonky finish. I'm happy about that because sometimes WWE, if they're like, hey, we're intent on doing this thing, we want to make sure Ronda gets over, let's just put the title on her. That's what I thought they were going to do to try to maybe restart her, latest run in the WWE, clean slate with the title. That'd be a bad move. I don't know that you do that. And they didn't do that. And I'm glad about that. And honestly, I think there's enough talented women between on SmackDown and in NXT potential call-ups and people who were sidelined, Bayley and Asuka, to challenge Charlotte for that title. You don't need Ronda Rousey out there when she's basically one-dimensional. She could do one thing decently well, and that's in-ring. She is pretty decent in the ring wrestling. Storytelling, Ronda Rousey's all right. There's too many people better at that and way better in the character department than her. You don't need her name value. You really don't. Evidently, according to Brian Alvarez from Wrestling Observer, she was upset on Friday when she found out that she wasn't going to be main eventing on Saturday. Of course, it was Stone Cold. If you think you're going to main event against Stone Cold Steve Austin, that's not going to happen. And I don't know if I want people like that on my TV that are going to be upset. And who knows? Maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not true. Maybe she's getting a bad rap from somebody out there leaking bad info. I don't know. I shouldn't be commenting on that. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Just not a fan. Anyway, so yeah, Charlotte gets the win over here. She was going for what was it? Something. She ended up accidentally spearing the ref, Lil Nate, Charles Robinson. And as he was coming to, Ronda Rousey tapped out Charlotte, but because he wasn't there, it didn't count. So Ronda gets up, tries to help him. Charlotte comes with a big boot, gets the win there. So I thought it was a solid match, and I'm glad that it went the way I wanted it to go. And then in the main event, we had the Kevin Owens show, and he sits down Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said, who had the ATV, says, I tricked you. I brought you out here not to have a chat, but for a match. And Stone Cold Steve Austin asked the crowd, he said, I had my first match in Dallas. I can have my second match in Dallas. Let's do it. And they had a 14-minute match. It was a no holds barred. They were brawling all around the ring. They went over the barricade. Owens hit him with a suplex on the concrete. Oh my gosh. They come back. They go up the ramp on the ATV. Austin suplexing him out there, brings him in, kicks out of a stunner from Kevin Owens, and then he hits a stunner of his own. I thought this was absolutely fun, really terrific. I kind of feel like Bianca and Becky should have main evented, but I totally understand. This is Stone Cold's first match in 19 years. I kind of wish that they would have billed it as such. I mean, why don't they get this squared away? Say, hey, look, come back for a match. I understand Stone Cold probably didn't want to have it billed as a match. Maybe he liked the idea that, well, I like that WrestleMania 19 match to be my last actual match because it was a classic. And this is more an impromptu thing. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a really fun match, and it was a great return for Stone Cold. Will he come back? Is Saudi Arabia going to pony up millions and millions and millions of dollars for Stone Cold to have another match in Saudi Arabia? I think that's on the table. I think you got to feel maybe he felt pretty good out there, and he's like, hey, if you put me in there with the right opponent, maybe we could do something cool like that. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? We'll find out, I guess. Anyways, we're going to be doing our live reactions to Night 2 of WrestleMania right there at the twitch.tv/Steven Larson. So hopefully all of you here at WrestleJuice come hang out with us. We'd really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Wrestling, watching wrestling with friends is better than watching it by yourself. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. Check out one of these other videos over here. You can check out and see my predictions for WrestleMania and see where I landed on all this, or how actually accurate I was. And then check out this video over here. I'll just put up one of the latest Steve Thunder My Rises, which, by the way, I should be putting another one of those up today, but I'll probably just do it sometime this week. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at one of those videos.